Hi there, my name is Mixmaster PJ. This is a re-recording of the commentary of my personal best run on Bases Loaded 2 second season Win a Game. Bases Loaded 2 is one of the best, if not the best, classic baseball game for older generation systems. One, it was incredibly popular. It sold a ton of copies. It's very, very popular amongst the NES children out there. However, the best thing about it is just how quickly it can be played. There's no real turnaround time between pitches. It's pretty fast. And games themselves only last about 15 minutes on average. So, we're going to play a game, and the same thing's going to apply here. But what we're going to really try and do is just minimize the time we're playing. We're not really going to try and win and blow them out like crazy. We're just going to try and get our one run, and that's going to be good enough. So, we picked New York because New York's a home team. Which means we won't have to play the bottom of the ninth inning if we happen to be ahead. That's a huge time save as it is. But the other reason we picked New York is how reliable their hitters are. So we want to it's really important to get a run early, because then we can focus our entire efforts on getting intentional outs as fast as humanly possible and turn the game over to the opponent so that we can then immediately go back to pitching. In this run here, we got a home run on our very first batter, which cleared the way for us to intentionally bunt the rest of the game. Now, the home run is a little bit divisive in the community as to whether or not it's the best way to do things, because you do get this cutscene in here, and it does take a good bit of time. However, trying to log out singles and doubles over and over again to try and manufacture a run, that uses more time, in my opinion. But in this particular run, the home run early is what gave us the head start to really get moving. Right. You can see our batters here are going to be intentionally bunting along the way. And while it wasn't the particularly fastest first inning we could have hoped for, we've already got our one-run lead. So we're well behind the old world record there. And behind our PB after all as well. But in the grand scheme of things, having the one run already is going to give us a head up the rest of the way. Now, what we want to do now on all of these defensive plays is try and limit the amount of pitches we have to throw. Even a long fly out like that seems like it would take a long time, but it takes a lot less time than a strikeout as long as it happens in the first pitch. Foul balls are your worst enemy for sure, and we got two of them there, because they take a little bit longer than an actual pitch would, and you still have to continue the at-bat. Strikeouts aren't that bad, but they're much better if you don't have any foul balls along the way. So trying to find a pitcher that's like a good mix of control, where they're not going to let up home runs, but also still get hits, because striking out like this is not the most efficient use of our time. That's where it gets a little bit trickier. So a lot of players have tried to manipulate pitch placement and such as well. But we'll talk about that on the next time that we're in the field. We get a couple pretty good bunts here. When they throw pitches down the middle, it's a lot easier to bunt them straight ahead without the foul ball. We get 2 outs in the first 2 pitches there. This one just went foul, so we have to go for a fourth one. All right, and that worked, and we got out of the bottom of that inning with just 4 pitches. So 1 pitch away from a perfect inning from our perspective of wasting time, or of not wasting time. All right, you'll notice I'll do a couple of things with the D-pad before the pitch where I'll press the up button a couple of times. I generally do that when my pitcher is throwing a little bit natively low and the batters are swinging over the ball. This was a tough break that this ball went down the line there. If we were able to stop that with the third baseman, we would have saved a lot of time, because now with this base runner here, we have to play a little bit, a little bit more conservative. We really don't want a double or something like that to score a run, because that definitely would cause a reset. But the batters and the runners will do a couple of things that are very predictable. So you can see how he's leading off of first base right now. Some runners will always try to steal, and because you can exploit that, you can throw them out immediately and not lose that much time. However, we're getting a whole lot of strikeouts here, which is, good from a baseball winning the game perspective, not so great from a speedrun perspective. We're not getting any of the batters to make contact, and this inning's taking us a long time. We did catch the fly out there, though, so we're going to the bottom of the third, but we've only got 10 seconds before the PB comes along, so we're going to get the button real quick and hope that it's good enough. 1 pitch, 1 out. The only problem with picking New York is that means you always play against Philadelphia, which means that you always play against this pitcher, who has a few slow pitches and a few tricky ones that are sometimes hard to bunt into fair territory. But there we go. 3 outs on 4 pitches again. Had minimal time loss overall, given the top half of the inning. For a game this old, it's actually pretty cool that there's this much statistics and energy devoted to giving the players different attributes. So Hannon, who was just at bat, while he has 0 home runs, he is one of the fastest runners in the game. Just previous to this run, I had Bittner hit a home run in the 8th inning that ruined a way ahead of world record pace run. So, he is not my favorite player, that's for sure. But here's another inning again where we're struggling to have our opponents make contact. And even when they do, it's a foul ball and keeps the at-bat alive. Alright. Out of there without too much damage. A typical bunt overall takes about 9 seconds of in-game time. So, when that's happening there, you can generally look to your splits to see where you're at. If we had gotten the perfect 3-pitch, 3-out here, we definitely would have come back ahead. But that foul ball there kind of messed it up. Now we'd looking to be coming right about even if Vance is able to put this bunt down. And just like that, 4 innings down, we're within a second of the current world record. The game popularity has picked up dramatically. I set the world record for this game back at around the middle of June 2019, and there were a few of us in the different various methods of communication with one another about the game, but it was pretty dormant as far as other people were concerned. Then Ray Dude picked up the game and set a world record on his very first submission. That's when I started streaming and this run came from. Earlier in the evening, I was able to pass Ray Dude's record. This was actually the 13:27 time that you see at the very bottom of the screen was actually my second PB of the night. This one here ended up being the 3rd PB of the night and the new world record that we would go for. That world record lasted about an hour or 2. Ray Dude saw it and beat it again and has now set the time under 13 minutes for us to go after. Meanwhile, as well, Lack Attack has picked up the chase and has set a time lower than this one already as well. While, you know, submitting times of 15 and 16 minutes just a week or 2 before this. So the game has spiked in popularity out of nowhere. And it's kind of becoming a community meme almost that everyone wants to play Bases Loaded 2 all of a sudden. It'd certainly be awesome if that was the case. NHL 94 had a run like that earlier this year and gained a lot of popularity when big speedrunners started trying it out. So I'm really excited to see more runners with more exposure out there making this game accessible to everyone. All right, so this is what I mean by you can try and make them steal bases. So after that single, you saw the runner stop at first base. When we threw the ball home, it baited the runner in the running the second, so we could throw them out there. It's just a means of playing it safe so that we don't give up the run and that we then do not lose the lead as a result. Because when we're up, we're not making any attempt to score runs whatsoever. We're not trying to build a cushion to protect it. We just want to win the game 1-0 as fast as humanly possible. So there's 1 pitch, 1 out. Very difficult to control bunt there with how inside that ball was, whether or not to be able to put it fair or not. But you can see that the opposing pitcher is losing a bit of control, so rather than trying to bunt, we'll just take an intentional strikeout and swing the bat way early, thereby getting the next batter up quicker. All right, who puts it fair for us so that we don't fall too far behind. Still 20 seconds behind, but we got 3 innings to go. We really want this guy to make some contact And our pitcher's really struggling with throwing the ball somewhere where they can hit it. So we're going to change to this guy. And not only is this guy a little bit better at having them make contact, he also throws the ball a bit faster. But overall, he's still not great at having them make contact. And sometimes he has a pitch that kind of tricks the umpire. So if he throws the ball so fast, it actually registers the ball even though it's right down the middle.
Don't be afraid to hit the ball.
One more batter and we'll be out of the 7th. We got ground ball to short. Throw him out at first. Change sides. A lot of other baseball games in general have far more fanfare and time devotion to batters coming up to the plate or pitching changes or home runs or, you know, just overall slower transitions between batters. And the fact that this one's pretty lightning quick is what made it so enjoyable. When you had friends come over and you wanted to play bases loaded, you could definitely play 2 or 3 games in an hour and, you know, really crank through a lot of baseball there so that people were really having a good time. There wasn't any downtime as a result. All right, the time that we're really going to save a lot, or the inning in which we can really save a lot of time is going to be the 8th. Because an ideal inning is about 1 minute. If you have 30 seconds on each side, that's basically a perfect inning. 54 seconds is basically the absolute best, but if you can get any of your innings sub-minute, the more of those you can get, the better.
Gets a lot faster than that.
So you can see that the 8th inning had a pretty long time relative to what, you know, the other innings were doing. Additionally, we only want to play half an inning in the 9th. So 27 seconds would be a perfect 9th inning if we can get to that.
The 3rd ball like that this game.
Sadly, we're still struggling with all the strikeouts, but the faster we can end this inning, the faster we can get the bunting for our last time. So we look at the clock and we realize we got about 53 seconds to lay down 3 bunts here. And the batters just come up clutch, putting down some fair bunts just inside the line to get us out of this inning really quick. 2 bunts on 2 pitches that were fair.
I don't know if we're going to sub 13, but it's out there still. We have a chance.
And our last batter of the game for New York couldn't put that one fair. That would have been an immense time save. But on the second attempt, he gets it there. And we're now nearly 20 seconds to the good. All we need to do is get these 3 guys out, and the game is over.
They're going to strike out every single time. That's not going to help me. I'm going to lose so much time.
1 guy down, 2 batters to go. The worst part about that foul ball is how long it took to land. Because it's not going to actually trigger back to the batter so that we can continue the at-bat until it does land.
Let's go.
2 outs down. This is going to be our last batter of the game. And there you have it. Bases loaded 2. Win a game completed in 13 minutes and 17 seconds. I plan to grind this game quite a bit more now that it's had its popularity raised by all these new runners. So I hope you consider having this at AGDQ 2020. Thank you for watching.